So without further ado, let me start with the presentation, and I would like to give a little review about SAP document and data archiving. SAP archiving has been around for more than 20 years, and we have been engaged in its life cycle ever since, from the very early SAP releases, the 2.1a release, and further on. SAP has built into its infrastructure an interface called SAP Archive Link, and that interface allowed companies to attach archiving solutions. And there's predominantly two categories of customers that have adopted an SAP archiving solution for document or data archiving somewhere within the last 20 years, depending on how long they have been SAP customers and have carried this on over the years, and either have accumulated a large amount of data over those years, or maybe even have recently started using SAP archiving for document or data archiving. But there's still newcomers to SAP. There's companies out there that have not archived SAP data as such, or documents associated with SAP business processes. And so those are the basic two categories I'm taking a look here. And within these two categories, there is two categories of products. There is the standard ECM Enterprise Content Management solution with SAP connectivity, the large solution like FileNet, Documentum, OpenText in its complete solution portfolio. Solutions that attempt to solve all your content management needs, whether it's SAP related or not, and usually have a stronger or not so strong connectivity to SAP, depending on what emphasis the individual companies put on SAP document data archiving. And then there is a number of quick start products out there, predominantly the SAP Content Server, a lightweight product that SAP put in place a good number of years ago, but with the premier purpose of providing a simple and fast to stand up test and lightweight production tool. And over the years, SAP has posted controversial internal notes about the SAP Content Server. Some companies, sometimes SAP actually almost disregarded it and noted in some of their technical notes that the SAP Content Server is not production ready. It's not meant for that purpose. And but other companies, or a lot of companies out there, have really adopted it and used it and start using it first in a test environment just to prove certain business scenarios, and then as they found out that it is functional and it services their need in a very limited way, they continue to use it and even put it into a production environment. The advantage certainly is that it comes at without any additional licenses fees, but as you will see later on, there's also certain disadvantages with it, which will lead into the remainder of my presentation. So moving on to the next slide, going back to the larger ECM solutions for a moment here. Why is your legacy, your accustomed ECM solution potentially a problem? Well, technology is never at a standstill. Systems that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars can be purchased just a few years later for a fraction of the cost, with better features and less administration. And there's only so many dollars that have to go around in an IT organization. At some point, it becomes important to revisit the existing applications you have, and you might think about bringing down the cost for maintenance you have, because you purchase these solutions at maybe the height of the market, maybe when they freshly came out, you got a lot of benefit out of them, but you continue to pay for a solution that was bought at a premium. It's almost like you know, a new cell phone with a lot of new features comes out, and you buy it at a premium price, and then a year later the same product is available for a fraction or almost for free sometimes with part of a qualifying service plan with one of the cell phone providers. And the exact same dynamic exists in the enterprise content management market. And another element here is that solutions in the past were often oversized for the actual needs. You bought the solution, you thought, well, you know, today I only have 10,000 invoices a month, but next year we want to grow, we want to acquire more companies, so it may be 20,000 next year and the year after, and then I go into different departments, and the solution was supposed to mushroom throughout your organization. It never happened. So you bought the system for a massive use in your organization. You bought the system, you sized the hardware from a massive use, and it never happened. So you're really overpaying big time because you have software and capabilities in your IT department that are not really used. Plus, you know, some of the early on architectures, while you're continuing to maintain it, is about 20 years old. And in the IT realm, that's ancient. So there might be other solutions out there, significant cost savings, and you might not be future ready, for example, going into cloud environments. And that's a part of what we're taking a look here in the next few slides. So as a consequence, you know, summarizing what I just said, you have a legacy solution, you have a solution you have started using many years ago. There is a certain complexity of administration. It has many moving components. It's a complex client server solution with a database that has maintenance cost to it, with extensive hardware that has cost to it, and a high maintenance payment for the software itself that exists for many, many years. So a good reason to take a good look at this and figure out, isn't there anything else I can do, something that is cheaper, faster, better, maybe more modern, maybe cloud ready, maybe HANA ready, so that I can take advantage of these new technologies and adjust my budget or rededicate my funds appropriately. Now, that's kind of looking at the large ECM, the expensive solutions. There's another part to it. Those are the quick start solutions. And what is at issue here? Obviously, a lot of people saw good sense, as I said before, to use the SAP Content Server because it's a nice little solution that allows you to get your archiving started up quickly. It comes for free as part of your basis SAP installation license. But SAP usually, as we saw in many cases, is not extremely reactive in providing any fixes. We had customers we've been working with that waited for a simple fix to store data archiving files on the SAP Content Server for over 6 months. And there's also another important restriction. SAP's latest interface, the SAP ILM for Information Lifecycle Management, Data Information Lifecycle Management interface, used for sunsetting SAP instances, is not supported by this solution. So the product might be barely holding on to what you want from it right now, but you're certainly not future ready for the new interfaces or for any growth within the organization. So it makes a lot of sense to look at the SAP Content Server. And while the Content Server was a great entry product, SAP has no product roadmap here to improve the product. It's already not certified for the latest interface. There is no implementation consulting really around helping you with setting up the SAP Content Server. While some people say, well, it's easy enough to do it myself, there's certainly certain intricacies that need to be looked at. The Content Server can be set up as a as a database version with SAP's MaxDB product, a very unique database product that requires new skills. Usually companies do not have skills in maintaining, reorganizing that database, or even properly doing backups and administering it. There's incomplete application support by SAP because of that hybrid status. The SAP Content Server is not really viewed by SAP as a mainstream product. It's a get you started quickly or testing product, which has morphed into, for some companies, morphed into a production solution. And as I said, the technical support really is non-existent within SAP for the content server, which can be a big problem, because if you make the switch from paper to electronic documents, your company and your business processes are relying on those electronic documents. It becomes extremely important that the solution is up and running, that it continues to perform. And if that is at jeopardy, it's certainly a risk factor that cannot be overlooked. So in summary, why SAP Content Server? Because it's a great low-cost startup option, but it has significant negatives to it. It requires a proprietary database. It doesn't support any compliant storage media for long-term archiving, storage media that make sure that documents cannot be tampered with or manipulated while they are in the archive. There's no support for the latest SAP ILM interface, and with SAP's backing of OpenText solutions, there is an undefined future and no clear roadmap for the SAP Content Server. So you might get yourself into a corner if you started using it right now, where you put all your documents into an SAP Content Server solution, and then you face the problem of migrating everything off it once you have accumulated a lot of data. So how can we solve this particular challenge? What other options do we have, and what solutions are out there? The challenges are getting a new system in place that is really up to today's standard, uses most modern technology, is cloud ready, has a migration that allows you to transition from what you have today, if you have something today, and that migration has to be fast and highly risk reduced, has to be proven many times, and has to be extremely safe, because after all, you're dealing with important data and documents that legally have to be preserved for your organization for different rules and regulation purposes. How can I save? How can I bring down the cost for maintenance? Well, we'll take a look at that. And also, how can I reduce or repurpose the hardware that I have in place today? So here again, a classic system, as many of the large enterprise content management systems are architected that are out there. They use an SAP Archive Link module that connects to the SAP Archive Link HTTP interface. Then they have a storage module, a database module. They have a large database that requires a license to it, Oracle, MySQL, DB2, and then they connect to storage like a Jukebox, NetApp, EMC, or any other storage that is out there in the market. So that's the classic setup. Let's take a look what a reduced setup could look like. A reduced setup with, for example, the KGS ContentServer, one of the products we have in our portfolio, is much more lightweight than the above scenario. And if you compare it to what I just showed you, there's a Java module. It's a web-based web service application that has an extremely small footprint, can be easily virtualized. There is no database to it. There is connectivity to the very same storage storage products we have for the large enterprise content management solutions, but with a much smaller footprint. And if we go here into some some of the features of the solution. It is certainly the best available solution out there. It has been specifically developed to satisfy SAP archiving requirements. It has a very unique approach in the way how it handles documents and how it handles the retrieval, and with that is able to cope with the highest performance requirements. Later on we see examples where companies put literally hundreds of thousands of documents per day through this particular solution. It's highly scalable. It is certified for SAP Archive Link 6.2 as well as for the SAP ILM interface BC-ILM 3.0, and it has been developed with 100% compliance to the SAP standards.